We've got Masters of the Universe Origins Wave 3 coming up after this.
It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. Open up your presents. You get toys.
Okay, it looks like the international countries came through again, and we got the next wave of Origins before the US. They are on international cards. You can see there's the multi-languages, incredible artwork, awesome cross-sell. Man, do I love this stuff. This is She-Ra. We got Roboto. Beautiful, beautiful art. We got Merman. Looking real good. Love the artwork. I especially love the feature artwork. And then Zodak, my favorite Masters of the Universe action figure of all time. Really, really awesome wave this is. We got some great characters, and She-Ra to boot. I found these at Walmart in Canada. There's this website that you can track the stock, and I've been eyeing it and waiting and watching, and it hasn't been working, but it worked, and I got really excited. There was all the snow on the ground, which was really horrible. We are having really unusual weather here in Canada. One day it's warm enough to bike around in a t-shirt. The next day there's a blizzard. Anyway, I'm used to taking my bike to the stores once I see that the figures are coming in. It said they had 8 in stock. I only found 1 box, and I found the box before they even put it out, which is the best thing I like to do. I need to save this sticker. Okay, the most controversial thing I can say about this line is that I think I like it more than the original figures. I am not a fan of classics at all. I did buy them and support the line because I knew if we did that we would eventually get 5.5 inch figures with 6 points of articulation. That's what I really wanted. I'm not a big fan of I don't really need the articulation on these, but it's done really well and it's hidden really well, and that's what good articulation is, so I don't mind it. And of course you can get more poses and do more things with them, so I am a huge fan of that. I will get into more why this is my new favorite, but I do have some problems with it. One of the biggest problems I have when I'm looking at these is that his skin tone did bother me. Zodak is my favorite figure because he is the epitome of everything that is Masters. He is part space, he is part monster, he is part barbarian. So he has it all. I'm really noticing because he seems to have a very small neck. His shoulders are also a little broader. I do notice on these that is the distinction, is that the shoulders are broad and that they look kind of strange with their legs straightened out. I like to put the Master's crunch in their legs and keep them like that. But I really do, especially when I'm looking into the camera, I do see that his shoulders go out further. I will compare him to his original figure. I am really liking the bright colors, and I hope that attracts the children. And that's another controversial thing. A lot of people think that this line can't survive without the kids, but I'm thinking that it's doing way too well. Of course, the stores here, at least the ones in Canada, we are only getting 1 or 2 boxes per wave of these, or WWE per store. Actually, not even per store. Select stores will get 1 or 2 cases, so you'll get 1 of each figure. It's another thing that I love is that in this we did not get any more He-Mans or Skeletors mixed in. We got a whole case, 1 case of all new figures. That's something that I also love about Masters of the Universe. But back to the kids. I don't think the kids are collecting them. I think there are a lot of parents buying these for their kids that want them for themselves, And they're buying a lot of them. They're buying doubles of them, and they're buying them also for their kids. And I think it's going to work. I think it might be enough to make the line successful without actually any children taking any interest into them. Now, the kids that are playing with them would be toddlers. And that is, I say this in all of my videos, that Masters of the Universe was originally a toddler line. It was simple. It was bright colors. Now, it looked a little spooky for kids, but this was the 70s and the 80s. This was when they were being designed. So things were a little more creepy and a little spooky then. But they were basically big Fisher Price toys. That's what Masters of the Universe is. That is what I like about these ones. The colors are so bright. Now, I don't know if they always get it right. Like, I think that Zodak is looking better now that I have him out of the package, but he kind of looks like he has a spray tan. I'm not so happy with the coloration. Now, Zodak, I always thought he had, I don't know, it's like the shape of his mouth, and I always thought of him as African American. So when they made him in 2000X into a dark complected character, I was totally happy with that. It didn't bother me at all. But Zodak with a C is definitely my favorite Masters of the Universe action figure, and I think he looks great. And the bonus of all of this, you have been noticing that his waist has been falling apart while I'm talking about it, but I do really love that feature too, where you can mix and match. However, if the skin tones are all different, that's really not going to be very useful. This is my childhood Zodak. His original harness was a little kind of translucent. Why don't I have my glasses on? This was slightly, almost kind of translucent. His harness this time it isn't, but he does have the hairy torso, and he does have the same kind of feet, and his coloration, I mean the colors of the actual armor and outfit is pretty much the same, which is not what we have seen. I mean, this is a little more vibrant red on his harness, but he's looking really, really good. I do have to say that I prefer the bigger heads, and I also like the head sculpt better on the original. I had to choose, but the new one is looking great. If you're familiar with my channel, you know that I'm totally supportive of dolls, but I'm not a fan of rooted hair. So I'm super happy about this molded on hair. Interesting curls on the back. I would have liked it, I think, to be more organic. The cloth goods, see how they're kind of tattered and they don't really lay nicely. That I'm not a fan of. Yeah, I don't really like the cloth goods. And the head is really small, and the way that the eyes are painted. Let's just say that I think that these are all awesome. I love them. Like I said, these are my favorite Masters, and Masters is my favorite toy line of all time. But I am going to tell you what I'm not pleased about, and that is the black lines around the eyes. Can I show you my original Teela? First of all, is the head really that much smaller? Yeah, that I don't like. The way that those eyes are painted though, I like that. And they did that for all of the other figures. They had just the black line above at the top. That bottom line makes it look cheap. Even the new Teela, I can really appreciate this. They didn't put the black line underneath. And she's actually pretty. Unlike any of those females from the Classics line, they all look like a man, but there's definitely a very feminine face here going on. I'm very pleased with that. But the original face, the way that the eyes are painted, I mean, that looks really super 70s to me. But again, I think they did an excellent job in bringing her fresh into the 2000s. She looks good. She-Ra's face, head, everything. Is her head even smaller than this one's? No, I guess her head kind of looks bigger than that. They all do have kind of pea heads. I am not loving the eyes. It does look better in person than it does, but yeah, I don't like the paint under the eyes. And I don't need the soft goods. I'm glad that I didn't get the convention ones, but I really wish I would have gotten those Lords of Power figures, which I guess that'll bring us to Merman, because he is the biggest difference in that set. Now with Merman, I'm seeing here is the paint deco is what's awesome, and then I'm hoping that we do get the Lords of Power without as much paint deco and they put them in this line, because then I would like them even more. Because what I like about the figures, again, let's take us back to the 80s when we got these toddler toys. They had very minimal paint on them. So just like this guy, it's really evident with him that this is all molded into one color and it's all one color plastic. And then there's just a painted belt on here on the loincloth, just minimal bright pops of color. This is all molded in one color. He comes with this incredible sword, and I haven't shown you the weapons of any of the other characters yet, but he has his corn on the cob sword with the bone handle. Really great scope. Let's bring out this one. Now, something that I didn't even remember, I did not have the original Merman as a kid. This is the commemorative one. I did get all of the commemorative figures when they came out, but let's see how closely resembling these are. It is definitely a new mold. They made it bigger and broader, but look how closely they made it. Look at the top little tip. It's like they reversed it. Back side of it, that one's right on. Really cool how they mimic that. I like this little crook in the handle there. I guess they saw the bend that it made from him holding it in his hand, and they emphasized it by adding that to the mold. That's kind of cool that they did that, because that wouldn't naturally have that. That would have been straight, but because it's in his hand, that it bends it out, and they would incorporate that, thinking, I don't know if they did it on purpose. Is it an homage to bent up toys, or is it just they thought that that's how it would have been molded? I guess I'm going to have to come back to these figures. I'm going to put her shield in her hand and her tiny little sword. Oh man, this is a miniature little sword. Do I have He-Mans here? So the two that they've issued are this full sword that they gave with Prince Adam, and with the convention they issued this one, and then there's the splitting sword. But as you can see, these are extremely different in sizes. But I guess I like her. I like her more when she has on her She-Ra hood, because it makes her head look bigger. And then it's got the sparkly sticker, and I don't see the sticker coming off. I have found the stickers are coming off on things like the jet sled from this line. But hopefully it doesn't come off, or if it does come off, it comes off all at once. Did I even show you the shield? How she holds on to it? It's nice. I like the holographic stickers too. Okay, yeah, I will have to break her down more. Let's take a look at Zodac's blaster compared to his original. So they made it a little smaller, and it's a little more matte finished, but pretty much the same thing. I think I do like the original better, but the new color is very good for today. See how the proportions are just a little more messed up on the new one. Shoulders look a little too broad. There's no neck. I would say that there's more of that V taper on the new one, which kind of makes his shoulders look even wider, and without the neck and the smaller head. Yeah, I like these proportions better, I have to say. And here is Merman. This is the commemorative one, but I think the commemoratives were pretty much exactly the same as the original releases. Look at those eyes on this one. I like how they matched the color around his eye to his loincloth, just as they did in the original. Again, this looks very 70s muted color combinations. And then this is the bright pop of these new ones, and I am loving that. I am really, really liking the colors, and I like the finish, and I like that they're not too glossy like the Super 7 releases were. Mattel has the best plastics. I haven't heard of anyone breaking any of these, which is great, and they come apart, and rubbery plastics, just sturdy awesomeness, lots of articulation. I'm not even going to run through that because we all know how that goes. Take a look at any of the other videos. They have the same articulations and they all come apart in the same way. I really do love how he is all one color. Normally they do have different colored boots, but Merman is one of those characters that His feet are his skin. Loving him. And in some ways, they have more detail on the old ones, and in some ways, they have more detail on the new ones. Depends on what you're looking at. This guy, he's one ugly dude, but still cute. And then Roboto. Roboto is a great example of why these new ones are my favorite. So, my childhood Roboto, just sitting in a box. This discoloration thing is happening. I gave him a good wipe down, but the pink was coming off on the plastic that I had separating him. I leave them in an open kind of box. They get some air, but I do separate them with a little bit of plastic to make sure that they don't rub on each other. They're all in really good shape. I took really good care of my toys. I noticed that the only problems that I'm having is from over time, that some of the paint is oxidizing, or even some of the elastic bands just have deteriorated. His legs are pretty good. He's looking great, and he is definitely, when I put these two next to each other, because of the coloration problem and everything, this Roboto looks better than this Roboto. What's sad is that they don't have as many colored discs in there. That's kind of upsetting, but it is so awesome that they actually did incorporate an action feature in here. They did take out some of the wheels. Did those orange and green ones really do anything? I kind of like that they monochromed him a little bit more, because that is what I like in a toy. And his axe is pretty much exactly the same. There is more detail, I noticed, on this side. This one had some dings in the blade. This one is a little more clean and new. How different is that head? I can't get his mouth to stay open. It shuts as soon as it's always staying, oh, you can press it down. See how it just opens when you turn it, but you can pull it down. But you can see that the head is pretty similar. Again, it's confusing. Is that more detail or less detail? In some ways there is, and in some ways there isn't. So cool. He's really cool. Look at that robot hand. And then we've got the hook hand. Quite similar. They even did it in that same stony textured plastic with lines in it. It's kind of mixed gray with veins going through it. Pretty much the same there too. Just a lighter color gray. I would say the plastic on here is a little more cloudy than the original one. And I'm pretty sure that the head doesn't come off, so you can turn the head. Wow, have I showed you everything? I haven't shown you She-Ra. I never had any She-Ras, but I did find some at the thrift store. And as you can see, she used to have cloth goods in some of them. I don't know, Star Power or something She-Ra this one is. So there is a similarity. Let me get one that doesn't have anything. I didn't even like them in the 80s because of how fragile and thin they were. This one is looking a little more sturdy. I like how healthy, fit, 70s looking action figures that Teela and Evelyn were. But there's definitely some similarities. Okay, I think I've talked way too much. I'm going to show you the comic book really quickly, and I'm going to take She-Ra apart at the end of this video. Hope you will like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. Open up your presents. Yeah, toys.
What does this comic book look like? Look at that awesome art. I love this art the most out of everything they're making, but that cover is pretty incredible. Also on these international comics, it's kind of nice to have uninterrupted pictures, but it is kind of hard to know what's going on in the stories. Do we see all the characters in this? Is Merman in there? Oh yeah, Merman was in the beginning. I don't know what's going on again in this comic. but it's really nice art. And I'm so happy they're making them. Okay, how's Shiva gonna look when we take off these things? Oh, I like that the cloth is a different separate piece. See how it's an unfinished edge and it's just sloppy and jagged? I'm pretty sure that I will not be using that. Maybe we will get a plastic cape and then I won't have to keep this one on. So it's not just a loop, they have it sewn in the middle, so those two hoops have to go around her arms. Again, you can see all of the jagged, unfinished edges. It's a little too sloppy for my liking. The metallic elastic, though, is definitely a nice homage to the 80s and Masters of the Universe toys. This is what she looks like without her belt on. I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot more. I mean, I kind of do that with the dolls that I do review. I like to take off the soft goods and turn them into action figures whenever I can. And ones without rooted hair are always my favorite. And again, that monotone thing that I like is happening now. So she's looking pretty good. She does look like she's missing something. This headpiece, can we put it on in the traditional She-Ra goggle way? And we can. That fits really nicely on her like that. That fits exceptionally well. Mattel is really good at doing that. And then these boots, gotta be the sweetest boot we've gotten so far because it overlaps over the leg, so it really hides that connection, even though the boot cuts are done really, really well, where they're quite hidden. But this is definitely the best one because of the overlap. I love having brand new, awesome Masters of the Universe figures that are in excellent condition and that the elastics aren't going to wear out and they're all new and crisp and bright and so fun. And I haven't even jumped into interchanging them that much. I can't wait. It's just that they're so rare and I can't get very many doubles of them. Some waves I've been able to get an extra set, but other waves I haven't. I really do want to get some to keep on card and some to play with, and then even more to mix and match with, but they're just not that readily available. I like that little blue joint in the back of his leg, which is even cool. I never can remember for sure what parts come off. Oh yeah, don't break them at the knee. You break them at the boot. Okay, I'm gonna go play now. I'm just gonna sit here for probably another couple hours and just stare at these. I love them.